All right, what's up guys? I am back with another quick how-to. Well, hopefully it's pretty quick. This is kind of a more advanced how-to on removing the door handles on your 987.1 Cayman S, and I assume it's the same with the Boxsters and the 911s. It's a little bit more in-depth than, say, my last video, which was like how to remove the mirrors. That is like literally like 2 minutes. But to do the door handles is gonna take you more like an hour. And it's gonna, you're gonna bump up your knuckles a little bit, but we can get it done. It's really actually fairly easy in the whole scheme of things, but there's just some tough angles and you gotta squeeze your arm into a few things. You can already see right here, I have removed the passenger side door handle. I went ahead and did this so I could gather all the tools necessary for you guys to do this, and to kind of get the right techniques, the proper ways to reach the bolts that hold the door handle in here. But as you can see, you can still open the door, but the door panel is removed. So that is the first step. I have a previous video I uploaded a couple videos back on how to remove the door panel to access speakers, wires, the window regulators, and actuators and that kind of stuff, and the mirrors and the door handle. So you're going to start by removing the door panel, and then what you're going to need is a T30 torch screwdriver right here, T30, and then you're also going to need a 10 millimeter socket, whether that be a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch, just whatever you have. All right, so we got the door panel off. You can see it's just right over there. Next, we got to go around and do the T30 bolts. So there's one here. This is actually the bolt that is inside the door handle. Then we got bolts all the way around. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then, like I said, we have the 10 millimeter here for that bolt there and that bolt there. So let's go ahead and undo all of those. All right, we removed all the T30s and the two 10 millimeters. Now you can kind of see it's a little bit loose. But next thing, there's like a rubber seal that kind of goes around the bottom edge there. So if you can go ahead and grab, a screwdriver or these plastic prying tools and just lift up the door card all the way around, and then it will kind of pop open. See, just like that. So next is the hard part. Next is kind of where you gotta contortion yourself down and around. The door handle is like right here, but unfortunately the opening in the metal door is like down here. So you need to go in from underneath with a 10 millimeter socket with no extension. So you want to just get just the socket here and loosen those bolts. So I'm actually going to take you over to where I have the other door handle here, just to show you. So this is from the door panel on, or the door handle on the passenger side. So you can see right there, I left. This is actually the top part, is this part. So this is the bottom. So this is what you're looking at on the driver's side. It's just gonna be reversed. So on the back side, you got two 10 millimeter bolts, or nuts. They're super easy. The one that's towards the the center of the door is the easiest one. The one on the outside closest to the edge of the door is really hard to get to. You can get to it with a socket and your ratcheting wrench, or you can get one of these, which is like a crescent wrench, but it also ratchets. This makes it a lot easier. You can get to it without one that doesn't ratchet, but this one makes it really, really easy, and this is also a swivel head too. But you can get to it with just your normal socket. So those are the two nuts you're gonna go for, and then once those are done, we will kind of pull the door handle out and get rid of the electrical connection, and then the actual the door pull here that pulls the cable. I'll show you how to do that. It's kind of tricky how they have that in there, but let's get rid of these two nuts next. Okay, so right there, see, you can kind of see inside now. So the opening is down here. It kind of goes up, but you get caught in all these cables and everything. So in my experience, it's easiest just to kind of go in from the bottom here. I'm actually laying on the ground just to give me better angles on everything. But you're gonna reach up Go straight up here, and I can already feel the first nut, but you're just gonna loosen them from right here. You're gonna have to kind of trust me on this to try to get an angle of the bolts. It's kind of hard with this camera, but they're right in here. So we'll go ahead and remove those two now, and then I'll show you guys what happens on the other side when you pull the handle out. Okay, I got both bolts out. It took me about 10 minutes. This back bolt over on this side is way more difficult. So basically from this point on, you're gonna pretty much kind of pull the bottom out, and then it kind of falls down. Let me see if I can do this with one hand here. So the way it works is like there's mechanisms up above, so you want to actually pull the bottom out and slide it down. It's a little bit easier said than done, just because there's so much going on inside. See what I'm talking about? There's like, oh, we can get rid of this here. But once you get to this point here, you'll kind of see that there's a metal like cup on the inside. So this cup is kind of annoying, but that's how the handle is mounted inside the cup, so the cup sandwiches the door panel, or the door, outside of the door. But because the cable is still attached, the cup is still hanging there. But what I've figured out is easiest is you want to undo this clip right here. So if you look at this clip, right there, when you pull the door handle open, it actuates that clip there, and that is what brings the window down, turns the lights on, that kind of thing. So you want to disconnect that. So the easiest way to do that is you reroute this wire. You kind of pull it out of its little hangers here. So once the cable's out of those hangers, you see those two pegs? Those two pegs are just allowing that thing to clip into this plastic piece. You can pull that plastic piece apart just very slightly, and those pegs will slide right out. Obviously it's a little bit easier with two hands, but you kind of get the gist of it right there. So you want to get, oh, see, there we go. I got one out. And you pull that peg, or you pull the plastic piece, and then the peg should slide right out. Just like that, boom. So that kind of can go aside. So now you're loose on this end. Now you got to go in there and mess with the cable. I'm going to take you to the other side. It's easier to see. Okay, so we're on the passenger side here. It's just way easier to see what is actually going on when you're removing that last little bit. So you have this weird white plastic thing and a black plastic sleeve. So if you notice, the black plastic sleeve has a little like lever on the bottom there, and the door screw actually screws into that, and that is this piece right here. Screws into the threads inside. You'll be able to see the threads once it's removed. But okay, so what you want to do, the peg's going to be in like this. So you want to go around and pinch that black lever at the bottom and slide it inwards. You see how that slid in? And then that actually makes it so that the threaded peg can just pop out the side. And that is how this is designed. I had to figure that out by unthreading the entire handle and then figuring out how this worked, because it didn't make any sense to me the first time. But when you reinstall, you pop the threads in, slide the sleeve over, and it clips into place, and it's in. So it's a threaded screw, but you don't unscrew it or screw it in. You just slide the black sleeve off and then pop the threads out. So that's how it works. It just is a little bit tight to get to, and you may need some needle nose pliers or a pick tool or a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to try to just use my hands, and we'll see how we do it. Okay, so right in there, it's really hard to see. My camera keeps trying to focus on the wrong things, but right in there is that white part with the threaded screw and the black sleeve. So that's what you want to get to, and you want to move that sleeve back. So the best thing to do is to move the cup on the inside here, give you access, and then just get in there and move that thing back, and then the threaded part will pop out, and then the door handle's free. So I'm gonna go do that. I need two hands, but I will show you once I get it removed. All right, I got it removed. it actually popped out within about 10 seconds of me sliding that black sleeve back and popping out to the side. So it's actually a really ingenious design. It's way easier than unscrewing the entire door handle, which is what I had to do to figure out how that works. But there you go. So on the driver's side, the door lock mechanism is going to kind of hold the door cup in place. On the passenger side, without the door lock, you can actually remove the door cup and set it aside. But there you go. So now you can replace this. If you need to replace the little button thing, you can replace that. If you need to replace the spring, there you go. You just slide out the pin and the thing comes apart. It's really pretty easy from this point on. But there you go. So if you need to remove your door handle, that's how you do it. To put it back in, you just go backwards in steps. You just, put this thing in that clip first, then screw it all in, make sure everything's lined up, put the door panel back on, all that. So there you go. I'm gonna go set this aside. All right, there's another how-to for you guys. Hopefully you learned something and enjoyed the video. I tried to make these how-tos just to make your projects easier. I know my projects have been like saved. It's 2 a.m. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm half asleep, but I look up on YouTube, figure out how to do it, get it done, so then you can move on to the next project, get your things fixed, get them customized, so you can get your car back out on the road. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I have a lot more how-to videos coming up. Modding and customization coming to this car right here. This car is about to be wrapped. That's why I'm undoing everything so I can wrap it real easy, make it look like paint. And then we have a bunch of events to take this car to, but there's a lot of plans for this car, a lot of customized parts, a lot of engine modifications, engine maintenance, to save you guys money and that kind of stuff. So please subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. But thanks, I'll see you there.